Hey guys, how are you doing today? It is Coach B Wiley. I'm going live here on TikTok, but this will actually also be on YouTube. I hope you guys are having a great Friday. I did not know what I was going to talk about on this video, but then I went into my Quora. On Quora is where you can ask me your questions. Just look me up, B Wiley, on Quora, Quora.com. Look up B Wiley, and you can ask me your dating and communicating question. And one person on there mentioned something about what does it mean when a guy says he just wants to go with the flow. I mean, oh my gosh, this whole go with the flow thing, somebody hit me with this. It's been a long time ago, but it was like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I was interested in this person, and this person was acting like they was interested in me, child. But when I said, so what are you looking for? Something like that. I don't know the exact verbiage. It's been years. But when the conversation came up, because I was dating with the intent to be in a relationship at that time. And when it came up and when I asked him, he was like, oh, I'm just going with the flow. Anytime a dude tells you they're just going with the flow, you ain't going nowhere, Jack. Like, can you imagine getting on an airplane, getting on a cruise ship, and then the captain comes over on the thing, on the loudspeaker, or the pilot comes on the loudspeaker, and he says, all right, guys, I don't know where y'all thought y'all was going, but we just gonna go with the flow. We're gonna go where the air takes us, and we're gonna travel where the water meets us. What would you do? Would you not be concerned at all about where this plane and or boat is traveling to? Like, it makes no sense. Would you just get in your car with some dude and just drive, and you don't know where you're going? You don't know where the destination is? Generally, if a guy tells you that he's dating, that you're dating, that he's going with the flow, that means he has no plan, or you're not a priority. You're literally not a priority to him, because if you were, he'd tell you directly what his plan was for you, what his intentions was when it comes to dating you. So if you're in a situation and the guy gives you a roundabout answer, or he gives you a broad answer, or he gives you a confusing answer, then that means he has no real live plan for you. And if you know your plan is to date someone with the intent to be with them long term and or to get married, because I know everybody wants to get married. So if your goal is to date someone with the intent to get married or be with them long term, and if coming out of his mouth is no direct, hey, I too am dating with the intent to get married, then you want to go ahead and go. And a lot of women are so afraid to go ahead and go because maybe he looks good, maybe he's smelling good, maybe he's charming, maybe he has a great job, maybe he's good with kids, maybe he believes in God, whatever the case may be. So you use those things, you let those things overshadow the big red flag, and the big red flag is the going with the flow. Because at a job, think about it, I always relate things to jobs, because it's just, everybody can relate to that if you're working in an adult. And so anyway, when it comes to a job, can you imagine going to the job and they asking you, all right, so how do you think you can better our company? What makes you qualified for this position? What can you bring to the table in this position? And you come up in there saying, well, I just figure I'd roll in 8, 9 o'clock every day, kind of just go with the flow, see what things are doing in the office, and just kind of chip in here, chip in there, just see where I'm needed. Come on, guys. Y'all know y'all want to get hired. And if you tried that after you have been hired, you're going to get fired real quick. It just doesn't make any sense. Oh my gosh. I have a huge mosquito bite on my wrist. Like, something just bit me. It's since I've been on here and I've been itching my, it's a huge, I doubt that you'll be able to see it, but you might. Do y'all see that bump? It's right there. Y'all can't see it, but there's a huge bump right there. And it itches. Some mosquito just bit me. Side note, it's trying to suck the blood out of me. But let's not do that. Let's rebuke the mosquitoes in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Just like you need to rebuke those guys that are coming into your life and effing things up. Speaking of effing things up, have you ever been single and you're dating, you're getting to know these guys, and everything is cool and copacetic? I've never used that word before. Copacetic. What does that even mean? Everything is all good. And then all of a sudden things flip. And now things are one-sided. Have you ever been in a one-sided situation? Meaning at first, the reciprocation was reciprocating. And then all of a sudden, you're doing more calling, you're doing more initiating conversations, you're the one that's asking, well, when do you want to meet up? You're the one that's doing all the work, and he's kind of fell back. If you're in a situation to where a dude kind of falls back, then that don't mean you need to step up and do more. What it does mean is that you need to address it. Go ahead and address that when you're in a situation like that. And just because a dude falls back, that doesn't necessarily mean there's another girl in the equation. That just could mean he bogged down with work. That could be he got some personal issues going on, but you don't know unless you ask. So when you ask, which is also inquire, when you inquire about, hey, what's going on here, and you definitely want to give examples of why you're asking, and then provide, hey, when I called you here, you left me on red. After I text you, you ignored the phone call, and I never heard back from you again until now. I'm calling you the following day and you're answering the phone. You want to definitely, if you notice that he is falling back, you want to have your receipts so that you can bring it to the table versus going to him emotionally driven, rolling your neck, and being psychotic, yelling, because don't nobody want to hear that. And that's off-putting. And then even if he don't have nothing going on, he might be like, F you, I'm done because you crazy. So when you're in a situation like this to where things get a little one-sided, you definitely want to address it like you got good sense. Your body language needs to be good, your tone, your delivery, all the things that I talk about when it comes to communicating with emotional intelligence. You want to bring it to the table. Now, if he brings back BS to the table, then you need to address that and just be done. Like when someone brings BS to your table, it's not for you to like chop it up, flip it, go cook it on the stove and see if it won't become BS. BS is BS. You can't turn it into anything else. So quit working with this BS, quit tolerating the BS, and release it. Word of the week. Release that BS from your life. So we ain't tolerating just to be tolerating. We're not being in one-side situations and just going along to get along, and we're not going with the flow. Now, if you ever want to ask me a question, I need some rubbing alcohol. This bump is getting bigger. I have sensitive skin, so I know. I have sensitive skin, and if I ever get bit by a mosquito or anything, it's going to literally look like what it looks now or turn into an ugly, disgusting, pussy blister. And it's itching and it's irritated, and I don't know where the mosquito came from. It must have come in the house hours ago when I got home. I don't know. Y'all pray for me. Side note, back to the dating and communicating. It's Friday night, guys. What are y'all doing? Are you on date night? If you're not on date night, why are you not on date night? For those of you who are dating and it's just like y'all just want to Netflix and chill, I challenge you to get outside of the house. There's no reason, if you're dating someone, to be cooped up in the house all the time. That is a red flag. It ain't cuffing season just yet. Meaning, get yourself outside. It's really nice. I know this is technically the end of summer this weekend. However, it's still summer until like a couple more weeks, give or take. Who are you people? It's people trying to join this live. We're trying to join the live, but if you got a question, feel free to put it down below. I was just getting on here live just to talk to you guys really briefly about why you should not go with the flow, about why you shouldn't be okay with one-sided relationships. And lastly, I got one for y'all. A lot of people these days, this is just me observing and knowing people who do this. You're literally in relationships just because it's like this group. And it's just like you just have to be a part of this group. And if you're not in a relationship, you feel like you're an outcast, you feel like you're a loner, you feel like you just don't belong because so many humans just have to belong to something. And then you're in these relationships and they're so stupid. What was that? Oh, thanks, Tammy. What is that? That's something. I had a goal for something. Y'all, I'm still learning TikTok and I'm trying to set up my lives. And Tammy just sent me something. Thank you. I don't even know what that is, but let me set it up. So I just got something from Tammy. So Tammy, thank you. So when you're in these relationships, because you want to be a part of this clique, this club, when you're in these relationships, you're literally just hooking up with someone just to be hooked. And that doesn't make any sense. Let me tell you how it don't make sense. If you can't sit and talk to the person that you're dating and you plan to be in a relationship with, if you literally can't sit and talk to them and just have everyday casual conversation about some of the dumbest things that don't matter. And then if you also can't just sit and talk to them about things that do matter, like health, finances, lifestyle, beliefs, jobs, goals, fears, what you're insecure about, like you gotta go all the way around the spectrum when it comes to being in a relationship. And a lot of relationships these days, a lot of people are literally getting in a relationship based upon how the other person looks and what they do in the bedroom. That's it. Like, if they look good and if they can hunch real good, y'all sold. But that just doesn't make any sense. in my opinion, if you plan on being with someone long term, like you say, then what are y'all gonna talk about? Like when y'all in y'all 60s, and like my dad is 70 and my mother is 64 and my stepdad, I think he's late 50s. So it's just like with them, my mother and my stepdad, they're literally friends. They can literally talk about everything and have a good time. They enjoy each other's company, and they're not later on in age, I guess middle age. And then with my dad, like imagine being 70 years old. What are you going to do at 70 years old with this person if all you're used to doing and all the main reason you got with them was because you wanted to sleep with them, and that's awesome and they look good. Like what happens at 70 plus when you have nothing to talk about other than what's on TV or what you want to eat? I don't know if people these days are just dating just to be doing something, like I said, and be a part of this clique. I don't even know if you have a real long-term goal, because a lot of the times when people get together like that, people are still trying to come into this live. When people get together based upon things that are just silly, which looks aren't silly. Of course, you want to be attracted to the person, of course. However, that shouldn't be the meat and potatoes of the relationship or dating situation. The meat and potatoes is how you connect emotionally. Are you emotionally invested with each other? The meat and potatoes spiritually, your beliefs. Are you on the same page? How you raise children. If they could be adult children too. Little kids, adult kids, like what are your thoughts on that? How would you raise your kid now that they're adults? How do you treat them then? Like, what are y'all really talking about? Like, I don't understand. And when you're going in, this bump, it's getting bigger too. It's literally expanding right in front of my eyes. But anyway, and as you're getting to know, that's why I say when you're first dating in the beginning, you want to ask the right questions. And whatever your favorite color is, that's not the right question. That's a silly question because you're not in elementary school. So it just doesn't even make sense. What is his favorite color going to do for you if you needed some advice on something, on a business plan? And he a businessman and he got all these awards for being a business person. Like it don't make sense. Y'all got to start getting past and beyond the looks. Y'all just got to take his looks and be like, I receive it. I see it. Yes, it looks good. However, be unturned on. Like literally refuse to be turned on in any kind of way until you get to know what's up here, what his character is like. And if he does not know what character means, I need for you to literally, like that meme, Viola Davis, gotta go. I've had an experience with a guy and he's older than me. I ain't gonna say his age, but he's older than me. And we have been dating. This has been a while ago. We've been dating. And then he kept telling me, I'm a good man. My man. He kept saying that. And I'm like, well, okay. Well, what makes you a good man? And long story short, he kept telling me this stuff. And I'm like, that makes you a responsible adult, sir. Just because you work out, you take care of your kids, you go to work, like you pay your own rent, like I do all that too. Like, what do you mean? That don't make me a quality woman. That makes me an adult. And so then I wanted to leave so bad after I asked him this. I said, so what about your character? And don't you know, like that other meme with all the question marks around that ball player, all the question marks running around his head, he was just like, what does that mean? And I was like, oh my gosh. But that would have been an emotional reaction if I'd have really said what was on my mind. But I just let him know what character meant. And then once I said that, you know what, guys, I don't even remember his answer because I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I checked out. I checked out. But my point is, if he doesn't know what character is or the definition of it, or if he deems himself a quality man based upon how much money he has, what his body looks like, his physical looks, the aesthetics, him paying his rent on time, paying his bills, being able to get an oil change, I need for you to rethink that because it just doesn't make sense. And I need for you to also recognize the things that aren't making sense. And when your gut is telling you, you know what, this dude is cool and everything, but I just don't see it long term. You need to listen to that voice because a lot of women will ignore that voice that's so smart, that's telling them to run. And instead they will sit there and they will sit in it. And then he'll be done with you. And then now he's a bad guy. because you didn't decide to leave him when you saw the red flags flag and you decided to stick it out. And maybe you could change him. Maybe you can upgrade him. Maybe you can turn him in to who you want to be. And for the ladies that are watching this who think you can change a guy and turn him into who you want to be, I mean, that's ridiculous. Would you want a guy to come in on you and change you, everything about you that you like about you, that's authentic to you, and he decides, I don't like this about you, so I'm going to change you? You'd be like, no, you'd be rolling your neck, you'd be finger in his face, you upset, you mad, you crying, because why can't he accept you for you? Right. Now, there is a such thing as challenging each other to grow. When you challenge each other to grow, that means you might see something that isn't quite right in both parties. Both parties can see something that isn't quite right, and together you give constructive criticism. That's how you evolve. You give it constructive criticism. They listen because they're emotionally intelligent, and then they say, you know what, you're right. And then they tweak it. And then you sit down when you have problems in the dating situation, you sit down and you resolve the problems. You come up with solutions. That's what healthy relationships look like. That's what healthy dating looks like. Toxic dating and unhealthy dating is just two people that look good, hooking up because they look good, and then they going out, and then they at the house, and they don't know each other outside of in the bedroom. So they're bumping heads just because someone left the cereal box next to the refrigerator versus on top of the refrigerator, and now it's a blow up drag out. But then you on social media posting each other like ain't nothing happened because you're living for other people, because you don't want other people to think that you're not worthy because you're not in a relationship. Oh my gosh, you see how the train is off the tracks. Like, don't be one of those girls that has to be a part of that clique so that you get with any dude that just shows up at your door, or that you tolerate nonsense, or that you get with these go with the flow guys and you know you have no business being with them, but you do it anyway because you feel left out. And if you're feeling left out, you need to ask yourself, why do I have to have a dude to make me feel worthy? Why do I have to have a dude, any dude, just any old dude, to make me feel like I got something going on? Why am I not good enough in this moment, in this single season right now? Why can't you have a single season? I don't understand why you're trying to skip over the single season and go from maybe being in a dating situation, it didn't work out, hopping your butt right back online that night after the dating situation hit the fan, and you jumping head first back into something else. I mean, to me, it just doesn't make sense. And me as a thinker, I'm like a curious cat, literally. And me as a thinker, I like logic. And when it's not making dollars, it's not making sense. And a lot of moves single women are making, and a lot of moves humans are making when they're dating, it just doesn't make logical sense. And sometimes you have to sit down with yourself. If you're dating a guy and everything is going good, he's consistent, you're talking every day, you love hanging out with each other, you're having good conversations, but for some reason you're distracted. For some reason you're waking up late, showing up late, you done missed the gym, you haven't been cooking meals like you're supposed to. If what you were doing before you met him, you're now falling off, and then you find yourself daydreaming when you shouldn't be daydreaming, but you find yourself daydreaming throughout the day, he is a distraction. He is literally a distraction. Ask me how I know. I know because when you're dating someone that just weaves into your life naturally, you ain't distracted. You on point, you focused. However, when a guy comes in and you don't necessarily know up front that, all right, this may not be it, but you keep getting distracted. Everything you do, you're distracted. It's that energy on him. I can't tell you exactly what the energy is, but if you feel distracted since you've been dating this guy, you need to question yourself, like, self, what has happened? What has shifted? What am I doing different? What's going on here? I've been in that situation to where I've dated a guy. It was the same guy who didn't know what character meant. It was him. And I was just so distracted. Versus I was so focused before I met him. And then I met him, we dated. I was just like, why am I so distracted? What is going on? And then I had a conversation with God. And you know, God, whether you believe in God or not, have a conversation with the universe or whoever you talk to, your best friend, someone who has an unbiased opinion. And they'll give you the real deal. So just keep that in mind. That's about not being distracted. I don't think anyone that comes in your life is supposed to cause a rift. It's supposed to disrupt. They're not supposed to disturb your peace. They're literally just supposed to flow in. And if you're finding it hard when you're dating, if you're finding it hard for things to just flow naturally and organically, if there's always something, some kind of problem, some kind of issue, if the easiest things like just getting on the phone and having a conversation every day, is becoming a challenge, then that is a red flag. When you're dating is not hard. It's the people that make it hard. So if you know that you're into this guy and according to him, he's into you, but just getting a phone call every day is like jumping over a freaking hurdle. If just getting him to respond to your questions that you have. And if it's like pulling teeth. I wrote in my book, Hello, My Name is Single. If you ask a dude a question, like how long he's been single, why did you break up? What is your relationship like with your mother? And his response is, dang, what are you, the police? If his response is something like that, dude is hiding something and he's just not a truthful guy. Because if a grown man who's been in a relationship and or has a mom, which everyone was born with a mother, or how long were you on your job? What do you do there? Blah, blah, blah. And he don't have a direct, clear answer. How are you going to get direct, clear answers on down the road when you need them? Like, for example, he wants to move in with you. You're engaged. And you say, well, I know you got a raise at work. How much money do you make now? He can't give you no clear answer. He'll tell you like, oh, well, I make enough. That is a problem. And more single women need to realize and recognize what the problems are and address them versus being afraid that you're going to lose this guy. Because what are you actually losing? Who wants to be with a dude who doesn't give direct and clear answers? Who wants to be with a dude that is a distraction? Who wants to be with a dude that's up, down, and all around? Who wants to be with a dude that leaves you on red, that will answer some questions? Have you ever dated a dude who he'll answer some questions? Like you could send a text, for example, with 3 questions. He answers 2 of the 3. The questions are all right there in the same one text, but he deliberately answers what he wants to answer. That is deliberate. That's not, oh, he didn't see it. That's literally, like dudes will do things that are deliberate and then you'll make up an excuse and you'll justify. Quit making up excuses. Quit justifying bad behavior. Call it out. Address it. And by calling it out, I don't mean confront. I mean address. When I say call something out, like don't be afraid to call things out. If it ain't smelling right, it's stinking up the room, then you don't just sit and suffocate in the funk. No, you address it. Like, what the heck is that smell? Something is not right. If something was dead that smelled dead when you walked into your house, are you just going to ignore it and be like, oh, I'm going to just spray some air freshener, I'm going to light a candle. Maybe it'll go away. Up until then, I'm just wearing my little mask and then just whatever, it'll go away. Of course not, because that's crazy. No, you're going to get down to the root. And that's what it's about when you're dating and you have questions and then you've been dating a while and you are inquiring about something and you need to ponder and think and then address some more, because there's always something in relationships and when you're dating. It just is what it is. It doesn't mean it's drama. It just means you have questions, and it's okay to have questions. And your girlfriends can't answer your questions because they're not in the dating situation. If you're dating right now, and there's some form of drama you got going on with this dude, and you're trying to explain it to one of your girlfriends, and you're needing answers that they can't give because they're not in the dating relationship, they can't help you. So what do you need to do? You need to go to the source. If you're having an issue with the source that you're dating, then you need to ask the source, address the source. Why are you so scared? I don't understand. I've never seen more women afraid to ask questions. And I've been there. Oh my God. I used to always be like, oh my God. Now it's just like, I'm ready. Let's play questions. This water is so good, guys. And so I've been asking, I'm always like, let me ask a question, because I'm about to bust you, buddy. If I know that you want some BS, why if I even think, oh, I'm about to ask me some questions, because I'm about to nail your butt to the wall. You got to treat it almost like a game. You could go from not using your voice at all to using your voice effectively and appropriately and getting the answers that you need. And it ain't going to involve no emotional reactions, no none of this, no in your face, none of that. It's just going to be you, cute and calm and together, asking the appropriate questions to get the right answers. And the right answer is always the truth. All right, guys. I think I'm about done with this live video. I don't know. I've been on here for like, I don't know how long I've been on here because I never can tell and I never remember what time it starts. So if you've been watching this, thank you for watching. Go ahead and like it if you like it. Share it. Feel free to share it. I'll be doing more live videos at different times. I need to get a set time. I've been doing it in the sauna, but then my phone gets too hot and it's just like my hand starts hurting. I have it on my phone thing right here, my with the ring light. So I don't know. If you ever have a question for me, ask me a question so I can answer it for you. Quick dating and communicating question. You can DM me. You can comment it. You can email me. If you want to work one-on-one with me about your dating dilemma, I'm here for you. The link is in my bio, mymentor.life, Coach B. Wiley. Outside of that, if you want more videos like that, like this video is, if you're watching YouTube, I've uploaded it on YouTube, but I'm going to upload this video on YouTube. All my lives that I download, that I do here, I upload them on YouTube. So YouTube is your friend. I have over 500 videos here on YouTube. Go ahead and watch Coach B. Wiley. That link is in my bio too. If you like this video, go ahead. If you made it this far, thank you. And go ahead and subscribe. Outside of that, I think that covers it until tomorrow. And I'll be back to do another video tomorrow. I've been doing a video every single day for the last, I don't know, at least 2 weeks. And I'm going to keep that party going. So I'll talk to you ladies later. If I can turn it off. Bye. 4 viewers are watching. You may get 1 new subscriber. Sub only live. No.